So we'll call the December Board of Review in session. We got a quorum.
I'm going to share the screen. So you should see the agenda in front of you.
Excellent.
Well, I'll go ahead and I'm going to give a little bit of discussion as it relates to the Board of Review's authority for the July and December sessions. And then Andrew, I'll let you handle public comment and consideration and move on from there. But as you're aware, this is the meeting of the December Board of Review. So the authority of the board rests for clerical errors and mutual mistakes of facts or those items that the assessor's office has determined need correction based on those criteria. And then in addition, the Board of Review has the authority, upon other things, to review exemptions that are the board's sole authority, which include poverty exemptions and veterans exemptions. So nothing much has changed from years past. So those are the items that we're going to look at today. And Andrew and Amanda, I don't know if we have anyone in for public comment or anyone that's waiting out there.
This is Don from IT. I'm watching for any kind of public comment to come in.
Okay, so so far nothing?
Nope, so far nothing.
Okay.
Andrew, why don't you move us into those?
Okay. So now I'm going to switch screens. These are the items that are up for review. The items, as Aaron said, are mostly poverty exemptions, veterans exemptions, principal residence exemptions for the current and prior 3 years, if applicable. I did send you a copy of this from yesterday. There was only one additional change, and I get to that property. I will show you which ones those are.
Okay.
I can scroll through these one at a time, but we can go through. If you have any questions specifically about any of these, please let me know or stop. But I will just basically read off, go over the list and just point out anything that's on there. We have a poverty exemption for John Pike in the City Commission policy, I should say, says approve the poverty exemptions based on the 25% above the federal poverty guidelines. And at that point, then the taxable value is reduced to 0 for that year. They do have to apply every single year. Veterans exemptions are also, as long as you are honorably discharged, 100% disabled due to a service-related injury, verifiably unemployable, then you are receiving benefits at the 100% level. You are entitled to an exemption from the property taxes as well. And that also has to be applied for every year. So the first one is poverty. I'm sorry?
Nothing has changed. So that's
nothing has changed on those. No, nothing so far. There are bills pending, but nothing has been put in place as of this board review. First one is the poverty exemption on Virginia Avenue. Next one, Robert Brink is a veterans. The next 3 on Dwight, Charlotte, and Charles are on poverty exemptions. 1625 Maine, a pre for the current and prior 3 years. Michael Reynolds, we have a veterans exemption. Principal residence exemption for previous 3 years, 2019 and 18. Mr. Powers on Engelman Avenue has a poverty exemption for this year and a pre for the prior year. The next one is a pre-Ernest Lee Gathering for last 3 years, current and 2 years prior. Harrison Circle Limited Dividend Housing. This is a class change. It's a unique situation where this is actually granted pilot status, which means that they do a payment in lieu of taxes. And because they were under partial construction, they're not receiving their shelter rents as of December 31st. And so we are just classifying it as a pilot and change the class to 210 so that the taxes would be payable at the same time as the normal pilots and would be on the delinquent personal property roll. It's just a matter of tax collection and transfer. There's another project that's like that later on down the list. So there is no value change. There is no situation. Is merely just collection purposes. The next 3 are principal residence exemptions for various years on Simpson, Woodward, and Eleanor. Then we have a veterans exemption on Farrell. And 718 was a missed fire at the end of 2020 that they brought in the fire report and the information. So it's partial for 2021. There was proof based on the fire report and an inspection. The next 48 here is the creamery pilot on Porter Street. This is very similar to the other one. It's a pilot on those. So they were changing the class to allow for the collection on the personal property roll, as they will be paying their taxes at the time pilot payments are due. So there is a bunch on there. There's 48 parcels. Next, we have a poverty exemption for Michelle Lucas. She has applied in the past. Next three on Bank, Garden, and James are principal residence exemptions for various years. 1203 Mills is a recapping. The Board of Review does have the ability to recap taxable value that was incorrectly uncapped. So they provided a documentation that was not a transfer of ownership. It was between family members. We have a pre on Duckett Drive, a veterans exemption on Vassar. The next two are pre's on Belmont. These are the two that are not on your list that was sent yesterday, 202 West Belmont, 136 West Belmont. Both of those were put in this morning as they brought in the affidavits. So those are the only two that weren't on the list that was sent out yesterday as a pre-review. The next two are veterans exemptions on Inkster and Law. The next four are principal residence exemptions for 20 and 21 on 4 different properties. The next one on Parkview is a clerical error. The owner filed a 50% pre. It was entered in as 100 by mistake. The next one is a pre at 100%. The one on Hazel is also a clerical error. It was entered in as 25%, filed as 25%, but entered as 100. We have a pre for on Kent Avenue, John Heiser for the whole year 2021. A partial assessment for 3408 South Westnedge. This was a purchased old dental clinic on Westnedge Avenue, purchased from the county treasurer. It was in that condition at the end of the year. You have something to say, John? Oh, never mind. Maybe. So this one was, didn't make it to the, came in based on the condition. Veterans exemption at 735 Hutchinson. Pre on Lakeside. 2 poverty exemptions, one on Kilgore, one on Blanche. Both have applied in the past. Lovers Lane, we have a recapping and a pre. So as a recapping was not, it was a change between related family members, but the pre was not applied for in 2020. We also have another pre and a recapping on Miles, another transfer between family members and applying for the pre. Kathy and Ed Overheiser and Golfview, a pre for the entire year. And then we get into the personal property where these statements were estimated. And we're going through a bunch of these here, which they are no longer in existence. So all these have been returned to mail or the businesses are not there. There is one here on McDonald's, 3320 South Westnedge. This was a duplicate filing. They put 3320 South Westnedge. It was actually for equipment on Kalamazoo Avenue, which they already filed in a statement for. So it was 2 different auditing firms that did that. An amended statement from Verizon, just adjusting that value upwards. And then there's some amended statements from businesses that came in just at the board review that were verifying their information at March. And that is it at the very bottom. So a net adjustment in assessed value over the 2 years of 2.4 million assessed, 2.3 million taxable. But again, that's between multiple years. Most of those are probably, as we show up here, your veterans exemptions. I should have pointed out this Merrimack Capital. That's a large exemption, personal property. Merrimack Capital is filing for graphic packaging. And graphic packaging recorded the equipment on their statement, and Merrimack also supplied it as well. And Robin worked with Merrimack and graphic packaging to confirm that it was a duplication of assets. Is there any particular ones you would like to go over, discuss any further?